I think we all knew that the Diamondbacks and Blue Jays were going to have a move this offseason. We just didn't know what team it would be with, and it happens to be both of them. The Blue Jays, of course, had a surplus in catching, and the Diamondbacks had a surplus in outfield. Now, both teams saw this as an opportunity to perform a trade with each other, and that's what happened today. At work, I was thinking about this trade and thinking about how impactful it was, and everyone's overall consensus about this trade is that it was a really good deal for both teams, so I kind of want to break it down. In this package, the Blue Jays received Daulton Varsho, which is a 26-year-old that had a really good season last year. Last year, he had a 4.9 WAR while batting a 235 average, which isn't as good, but he's still very young. He's going to get better over the years. Now, the reason why the team ended up picking up Varsho is because he has really good defensive numbers. Last season in 2022, he had a plus 19 defensive runs saved in the outfield last year, along with an 18.8 ultimate zone rating and a 17 outs above average. This guy was your overall package for a defensive player. Varsho is only 26 years old. You're going to have him for a very long time on the Blue Jays. This guy is not going to be a free agent until 2027. Now, the bat might not be as much, like I said, a 235 batting average, an OBP of 302, a slug of 443, and an OPS of 745, but I'm sure that will get better the more he relaxes into the big leagues. On top of being an outfielder, a lot of people don't realize, but he's a really good catcher as well. So you pretty much got a catcher and an outfielder, even though you need more of an outfielder on the Blue Jays. But you'll still have a backup catcher in Daulton Varsho. Now, on the other side, right, the Diamondbacks received two players. The D-backs got catching prospect Gabriel Moreno, which you're going to have for a very long time because he is very young, and he's going to be able to fill that catcher position that the D-backs kind of had, but they'll have a set catcher for a very long time as long as he's not a bust. And on top of that, you get outfielder Gabriel Jr., which is okay, right? He was a top prospect at one point. Gabriel Jr. had a 2.2 WAR season last year, 291 batting average, a 343 OBP, a 400 slug, and a 743 OPS. A lot of people know this guy, right? He was kind of a utility guy for the Blue Jays last year. He can play left field, shortstop, and second base. It's a good deal, man. He's 29 years old. He's not going to be a free agent until 2025. You get him for 2 years. Catching prospect Gabriel Moreno had a few at-bats last season. He had 69 at-bats. He had 22 hits, 1 home run. He had an OBP of 356, a slug of 377, an OPS of 733. But the good thing about him is he is not going to be a free agent until 2029. This dude is probably going to have his whole career on the D-backs system unless he ends up getting traded or becomes a free agent and, you know, moves on with his life. Because by that time, he's going to be like, what, 32, 31? So he progresses and he becomes that catcher that everyone thinks he's going to be, since he's pretty much the Blue Jays' top prospect or one of them. He's in like the top 5 or 10, which is pretty surprising that the Blue Jays kind of gave this up to get Daulton Varsho, which, hey, at the end of the day, they both got what they wanted. So that's a good package. It's funny to look back on this trade compared to the last trade that we had that was pretty big with Sean Murphy, the A's, and the Brewers, because the Brewers was a fleece, all right? We know that. We don't have to discuss that anymore, but it's finally the first trade of the offseason that feels like a fair deal. What do you guys think, Blue Jays fans or D-back fans or even baseball fans? Do you think this trade is pretty good? I think the overall consensus online is that this trade was just equal all around. A lot of people were happy with it, even if you weren't a fan of each team. People just thought this was a solid trade and not a trade that, you know, people cooked up and was like, oh, this team got fleeced, or oh, this blah, blah, blah. I'm really excited to see Daulton Varsho in the AL East because, man, I don't see him as much because he plays on the D-backs, and I'm a Yankees fan, so I watch all the Yankees games. It's going to be really fun to watch him when we end up facing the Blue Jays in Vladdy's house, so you know how it is. But at the end of the day, man, I'm really happy that this trade went through. I think it's great for baseball, and it feels unique and fresh that the offseason is finally getting over the free agency and is starting to become trades, because that's when things get really spicy, and that's when teams start to interact with each other a lot more. Like, for example, the Pirates and the Yankees with Brian Reynolds and stuff like that. It's fun to see these people come up with these crack theories and, you know, trade proposals to get these teams to give up these guys, and you make each team better. So that's pretty much it, guys. It's December 23rd, 2022. I started this channel about 3 weeks ago, uploading baseball content. I'm about to reach 280 subs or something like that in 3 weeks, which is crazy. Thank you guys for all the success. I owe it all to you guys if you've been watching this far. That's really it. Have a happy holiday. My name's Show, aka I'm Hitch, and I'll probably be back if there's any more news. Have a great one, guys. Peace.